Well, good morning and welcome to day 29 of my 30-day backpack adventure. It's almost the last day. Duck and a couple of young ducks over there. Don't know if you can see them. So we just crossed over the Virginia Lake Inlet, and there's lovely Virginia Lake in the morning, kind of in the distance. The camera makes everything look like it's distant. And here's where we're headed, and there's where the water's coming in. Hi, duckies! Last night I didn't really sleep too well. It got windy in the middle of the night, which I think woke me up. And, you know, it got a little bit cooler than normal. And then basically I laid awake for probably at least 2 hours, tossing and turning, thinking about life in the real world. Some would argue this is the real world. I guess it's all real. Anyway, just lying in bed thinking about stuff I need to do, stuff that didn't get done before I left, stuff that's pending, things I did right last year, but really more often things I did wrong, and what could I do better next time, and how can I avoid making the same mistakes, and you know, what's the future gonna hold, and is the thing I'm counting on gonna work out, living arrangements, seeing the hubby again, catching up with the kids, just wondering about everything. So yeah, had a real hard time getting back to sleep, but eventually did, and woke up and it was a beautiful day at Virginia Lake and got moving. Because that's what you do on the trail. You just keep walking. Same as life. Every day you get up, every day you go on. And you know what? You gotta fight for it every day. That's something the trail's kind of taught me. You can't just coast. The trail doesn't hike itself. You gotta get up and get moving. So that's what I'm doing. Today's plan is a little bit flexible. So I'm definitely heading to the Duck Pass turnoff, and that's in about 4.3 miles from where I camped. And then after that, it's up to the Duck Pass outlet, which is beautiful. I've hiked there before. And then hike up to Duck Pass or near to it. I'm gonna be looking for that junction that Chris was showing me, of Chris and Tara. They were thinking of taking that with their friends. I think it was called the Mammoth Ridge Loop or something, I don't know. Anyway, it goes to Deer Lakes, and then it hooks up with the Mammoth Pass Trail that goes down to Horseshoe Lakes. So I think even if I take this detour route, I'll still be able to get into Mammoth Lakes tomorrow before noon, which is kind of my goal, because then I can find I can find the good hiker hostel in town and get my bus ticket for the next day back to Reno, and then shower, and then go have my, I've decided what my reward is at the end of this trip. It is the full tasting flight, which I think is 48 ounces of beer at Mammoth Brewery. I love Mammoth Brewery. So that's my celebration plan. Wow, it is super hazy over there. I mean, you can barely see that mountain, and you can't even see the mountains beyond. Gosh, I hope they get that fire under control. And here's Purple Lake coming up. Looking pretty. I think I'll stop here for better water, because that stuff I drew out of Virginia Lake at the end there looked a little skanky. So hopefully here I can get some flowing water, and I'll stop for my second breakfast. My Fiber One oats and chocolate. Woohoo! Love those bars. Never get tired of them. There it is, Purple Lake. It's pretty, but I think Virginia Lake's a little prettier. Just my opinion. Look at this cute little bridge. So we have the outflow, Purple Lake, a cute little creek, and the outflow, again, put out of the lake this time. So pretty. Alright, on we go. Oh boy, rocky trail. Oh, ankle twister. Is this the trail? Just making sure. Such a pretty view. Okay, here we go. Duck Lake to the left, Virginia to the right, so we are going left. So I just talked to this nice couple, an older gentleman and a younger lady, and you know, they asked where I was going, and I said Mammoth. It was the end of a long journey. And they were like, that's really cool. And I told them my end point was the Mammoth Brewery, and the guy said, yeah, I drove by there yesterday, and this, you know, all the outdoor tables were full of people and packs, and you know, he was saying that they closed Yosemite Park. He didn't know if Tioga was open or Tuolumne, but he was just saying that they closed the park, and so the town apparently is inundated with people because, you know, I guess they're just making alternate plans, and maybe Mammoth is probably the next best thing to kind of salvage a vacation. So now I'm a little worried about getting into town and not being able to get a room for the night. I mean, I really just need a cheap hostel bed for one night, so that I can get up early and be ready for the bus out of town in the morning. So, you know, I'm hoping that the people who are fleeing Yosemite are, you know, booking higher class accommodations, shall we say. So, you know, we'll see. Otherwise, my options are spending a bunch of money that I just don't really want to spend on a, you know, on some super nice condo, or, you know, I'd have to find a place to camp, although I bet all the campsites in town are booked, and they really frown upon illegal camping in the bushes. So, you know, I don't know, I guess I could camp at a trailhead, but then it's tough to make the bus stop in the morning as early as you need to. So I don't know, and my biggest fear of all is that Mammoth Brewery would run out of beer. Like, if I can't have the full flight and taste everything, oh my gosh, what a tragedy that would be. Hopefully it'll be okay. I know it's good for the town, it's good for business. I wish everyone all the best, but I just want them to have beer when I get there, that's all. And a room. Okay, now I gotta show you this view. So pretty. Well, the air is looking a little clearer this morning. I think that's Silver Pass in the distance, kind of right up in there somewhere where we came over yesterday morning. And then we went down and up and down and up again. It's amazing how far we've come. I don't know, I can't decide about the haze. Sometimes it looks clearer, sometimes it looks worse. Just don't know. Maybe it varies. Okay, here's the thing with the smoke. It's not so bad if you look south, but if you look north, everything is obscured. So, glad I'm only hiking for another day in this. I have only one regret on this trip, and that is that I missed seeing the Jaws fish rock. It's a rock that looks like a big whale with scary teeth. And I think it's somewhere down below Evolution Lake. And I really, really, really wanted to get like a selfie with my head in its mouth. I probably ran past it in that rainstorm. So we're headed around and down the mountain a bit to the Duck Lake Junction. And the smell of smoke just keeps getting stronger. It's a pretty waterfall over there. I think it's coming out of Duck Lake. Crater Meadows, Red's Meadow that way, and Purple Lake and Duck Lake this way. This is my trail. Goodbye, PCT, JMT. It's been amazing. Look at all those Indian paintbrushes. They're so big and so pretty. Gorgeous. View. A little smoky, but still pretty. Behind me, where I came from. And now, heading up toward Duck Lake over this rise. And here we go. Alright, so here's Duck Lake, and there's a whole bunch of people. This is where I'm going to stop for lunch, the Duck Lake outlet. Last time I day hiked here, I threw up a hammock and hung out for the afternoon. It was awesome. This is a very pretty lake and popular too. Alright, let's check out the crossing. That doesn't look too hard. Still, camera away to be safe. Lunch spot. It's definitely gotten smokier in the hour or so I've just been sitting here. You can't even see the view on the downside of the inlet. It's just nothing but smoke. So I talked to some locals who I saw backpacking up the trail a little while ago. They had the cutest little dog with them. I asked them about the Deer Lakes adventure that I've been thinking of doing, and they said when you get up to Duck Pass, there's no real trail. At best it's a deer trail, and it's basically you gotta like follow this meadowy part up along between two mountains, and it's quite a climb. And then when you get up there, you gotta dip down into where the lakes are, and then apparently after that there's a trail, but they said it doesn't go to Mammoth Pass like it looked like it did on that map I saw that Chris had. It goes up and over and down into Crystal Crag Lake, which I know that lake. I've day hiked to it before, and everything around it is like freaking steep. So apparently the way they came in was through Crystal Crag Lake, and they hiked up and over the hill and down into the Deer Lakes Basin, which by the way is the only water up there. So, and the guy was like, Jesus, this is a trail. So it sounds really sketchy, like almost cross-country-ish. And you know, the guy said more than once, if you're gonna do that, you gotta be 100%. You know, like hiker beware. So I'm kind of thinking I'm not up for that kind of a zany adventure. I've had a whole month of crazy adventures, and I might just stick to my original plan to go down through Duck Pass. But when I get to up top and see what the lay of the land is, I'll make the decision then. I wonder if this is the meadow before the pass they were talking about. That would be quite a climb. Okay, so this is the top of Duck Pass. And the visibility is terrible. I've been up here before. I mean, normally you can see mountains behind these mountains. So if I were to do the Deer Lakes option, I would basically need to scramble up all that between two mountains that you can't even really see to find these lakes. And then all the views on the other side would be obscured by the smoke. So, and it doesn't even go to Mammoth Pass as far as I can tell. Yeah, so at this point, beer is this way, and unimaginable pain and suffering is up that way. No views and no water. So, and lots of uncertainty. So yeah, I choose beer. So down to town we go. We're gonna stick with the original plan and do Duck Pass. Going down.
Oh, hey, sorry, dude.
Had to stop for a little foot therapy here. At this beautiful little lake. Just boom, baby. So nice. So I'm not sure where I'm going to camp tonight. I don't think it'll be at this lake. There are a couple of other little lakes further down. It may end up being Arrowhead Lake, which I think is the first lake you encounter when you start hiking up from the trailhead. I don't know, we'll see, but hopefully by then all the day hikers will be gone. I've seen a lot of them. Oh, they smell so fresh and clean. I don't think they know what to make of me because I just look like such a hobo. But they've been nice anyway. I could waltz into town today. It would be something like an 11-mile day. But then it'll be late and I'll have to scramble to find a place to stay, and I'd rather just spend one more night out here and then sort of have a leisurely stroll into town. I'm probably going to have to do a 1.5 mile road walk from the trailhead because I doubt I'll get a ride, so I've got to add that on. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Just a nice last mellow night on the trail, and then hopefully I'll find a hostel room tomorrow and beer. So I met 2 more interesting people on the trail today. One was earlier today. Her name was Mary, and she was maybe a little older than I was, and she had just retired recently from a career in the Inyo National Forest Service. And she was saying how, you know, she really wanted to get out and hike in the summers, but she couldn't because summers were their busy season and she just had to keep working all the time. And now that she's retired, she was super happy about it, and she was section hiking the PCT, starting with, I think she did Red's Meadow to Tuolumne, and when I met her, she was working on, I'm assuming she started in Red's Meadow, not sure, but she was going all the way down to Kearsarge Pass, and her husband was supporting her with meeting her up for resupplies and stuff, which is really cool. And she's a slow hiker like I am, so maybe even a tad slower. She's like, yeah, I'm only doing 6 to 8 miles a day, and you know, and I said, well, that's just the beginning, and you might work it up a little bit higher, you know, it just depends, or just go those 6 to 8 miles a day and plan your food accordingly. So super cool to see her out here. Go, Mary, go. Slow hikers can do it too. And then I met another gentleman coming down from Duck Pass. His name's Dan, and he's actually 4 weeks from retirement. And we were talking about hiking, and he had mentioned that doing the JMT was on his bucket list, but that his wife was really worried about him being out there alone. Not from bears and mountain lions, but really just injuries, and you know, when you get older, it's just easier to hurt yourself. And so I was telling him, like, oh, she's gotta watch my videos when I'm done, because you know, it's total community out there. I mean, it's like you're alone, but it's such a well-traveled trail that you're not really alone. And you'll find that when you start hiking in one direction, there's often a bunch of people also hiking at about the same schedule as you are, and so you become this, whoa, sorry, not tripping, Ted, don't worry. He's afraid I'm gonna drop the camera. You become this pack, basically. And, you know, and for me, because I'm kind of a slower hiker, you know, I dropped out of my first pack because I really needed a 0 day, but then I picked up with another pack. Plus, with the inReach type and spot devices, you can basically track your loved ones, and they have an SOS button if they need it. So don't be afraid to let your spouse come out here by themselves, even if you don't want to, because there are a lot of nice people out here, and we look out for each other, And, you know, if you stay on the trail, you're not going to truly be alone. This is Skelton Lake. It has a beach and a pretty view. Maybe I'll camp here. I mean, check out the sand. It's pretty nice. My last little camping site. Now, it does kind of look like vomit, but it tastes really good. Hackerbox mashed potatoes. So it's the last night at my trip, and I feel like I should summarize it somehow, but I'm really not sure how. It's been an amazing 29 days. Tomorrow will be 30, and I'm just so grateful that I was able to make it through all 30 days, because there were times when I wasn't sure I'd make it past a week. I'm grateful that my body held out. I'm grateful for all the people I met along the way. I'm grateful for Denise and Charla for agreeing to come with me in the beginning. I am just so grateful that I was able to see all of this amazing scenery. It is a privilege to walk through these mountains. They are absolutely incredible, and if you get the chance, you should really come out here in any way you can. They're just spectacular, and we should do whatever we can to protect them. There's just nothing else like them on the planet. So, and I'm grateful to my husband for letting me come on this crazy adventure, and for my kids who are supporting me in this. I'm thankful for everyone who, you know, cares enough to watch. I hope it was helpful for you. If you're planning your own trip, you can see what it's like. If you can't ever make this trip, maybe it was sort of like making it. Anyway, I just hope it was useful. So thank you for being a part of it, and if you have any questions at all, please, please, please put them in the comments, and I will get to them just as soon as I can. So yeah, tomorrow's the last day. I think I only have about 3 or 4 miles into town, and then it's beer time. So I will see you in the morning for one last day.